Hey guys, it's Aaliyah with Open Doors, Open Hearts blog. And if you are looking for some simple fall decor ideas, then I really think you're gonna like this video. Today, I'm gonna share with you some of the simple ways that I decided to bring fall into our dining room this year. Before we get into all of the different ideas, if you want to decorate with real pumpkins, I recommend that you give them a good wash beforehand. We like to cook them and then eat them, so I'm not a big fan of bleaching the outside of them. So I just scrubbed them down with some soap and water, and it really does help make the pumpkin last longer. To start with, I like to give the room a good clean. And I will say I did not scrub the dining room down as much as I did the kitchen a couple weeks ago when I shared how I decorated our kitchen for fall. But I still did give it a little bit of a clean, picked it up. Now I'm sitting here looking at the camera, and like right behind the camera is the door. I did not clean the door, and I can tell like over by the handle, I definitely need to scrub that. So I'll be doing that after I'm done with this video because it's driving me nuts. So just clean the space, and it makes the whole decorating process a whole lot more relaxing and enjoyable for me. So once everything is cleaned up and I'm ready to go, I started thinking about the dining room and like how our dining room actually functions for us and what areas can I add a little bit of decor and it's not actually going to get in the way. So over here by the copper pots and pans, I had originally started putting some of the pumpkins on the step stool, but then I thought about it and I was like, we cannot have pumpkins on the step stool because the girls literally are bringing the step stool into the kitchen daily, and it'll just end up being more hassle than what it's worth to put a pumpkin on the step stool. But the corner beside the step stool is completely empty and was perfect for me to add a basket full of dried hydrangeas that I had clipped, and then add some pumpkins and gourds down there in that corner beside the basket. When I am decorating, I'm always trying to find the places in each room where I can add some decor and it's not going to take away from the functionality of the space. I can still walk over there, grab my pots and pans off of the rack, and it's not in the way. It can literally just sit there in the corner untouched, and except for if the cat decides to come over and start eating the hydrangeas. That's literally the only problem with the hydrangeas on the floor. Another tip that I have for when I'm decorating my home for fall is to try to make it as inexpensive as possible. And one of my favorite ways to do that is to forage for all of my stems and greeneries outside when it's possible. For the dining room this fall, I went and got some hydrangeas from outside, and I got some dried oregano. This is probably my absolute favorite thing that I did this year for our fall decor in the dining room. We have been canning a lot from the garden. By no means have we canned enough to like feed ourselves for a year or anything like that, but definitely way more canning than I've ever done in my life ever. And it's a lot of work. But I also think that it's really pretty. And so we canned a bunch of tomatoes and turned it into tomato sauce and salsa. And I had them over here on this hutch as they were cooling one day. And I just happened to look over there and I thought, wow, I absolutely love the way that those tomatoes, like the canned tomatoes, look in that hutch. I think maybe because I know how much work went into it, but I also just thought it really looked good. So I ultimately decided to put a few of the jars in the hutch as some fall decor. To me, it's an everyday item, and if you are into canning, then you know that tomato canning is definitely a fall activity. And I also think it really speaks to like the slower lifestyle, the more intentional lifestyle. And that's really like the kind of feeling that I want to create in our home. At first I started taking all of the jars, because this is 6 jars. We have way more than 6 jars in the basement. But at first I thought I'm gonna put all of the jars in the basement and I'm not gonna leave any up here because I'm probably the only one who finds like canned goods beautiful. But then like my husband was talking to me about it and stuff, and basically he was like, stop doing that. You like it, you know you like it, do it. So I did it, and I'm really glad that I did. I think for 2 reasons. 1, because I do find it beautiful, and then 2, because you know, sometimes I think we kind of get stuck in this trap of like doing things that we think other people will like. So we're not making the choice because we think it's something that we want, or we know it's something that we want and we like, but more we're concerned like, is so-and-so going to think this was cool, and is such and such a person going to be impressed? So that's the other reason that I'm really excited that I did it, because I think like overcoming that fear of what other people are gonna find beautiful or not find beautiful, it doesn't matter. And then the last thing is candles. And so I touched on this in my video about the kitchen. Candles are twofold. 1, they look like fall and they look cozy, and then number 2, they smell amazing and they smell super cozy. Right now I am still looking for some like healthy beeswax candles is what I'm thinking I'm gonna go for. So another option for like making and creating that fall ambiance in your home, if you don't have because the beeswax candles are expensive. I'm gonna be honest, that's part of the reason I haven't pulled the trigger on it, is they're a little bit expensive, and I'm not gonna buy as many of those as I would the regular, not as healthy candles to have all over the place. So another option in the fall when things are starting to cool down is to do a simmer pot. I love simmer pots, and truly, I don't even use a recipe. I just fill it with water and I add fall things. Oranges, apples, cloves, cinnamon sticks, vanilla. There's just so many different things that you can add and make it your own. I wanted to talk about this candlestick here. You guys have all been leaving such super sweet comments and talking about how beautiful the home is and how beautiful our family is and all the things. And I just wanted to make sure that I touched on like a little bit of imperfection that goes on around here. I think sometimes it's really easy to get stuck in that trap, like I talked about, of like needing to always put our best foot forward and show all the pretty things. And so I wanted to share some stuff that is not perfect in our house. For anybody who is feeling a little bit discouraged and needing just a little bit of encouragement with whatever imperfection is going on in their world. So this candlestick holder, it looks super cute on the table now, but this candlestick holder is, let me go get the other one, hold on. So this candlestick holder that I'm using on the dining room table is the match to this candlestick holder, and they look very different. They look very different because my girls were roughhousing in the living room and it fell and shattered. The legs shattered off of it and there were broken pieces of glass everywhere. And I lost my cool a little bit, and then we cleaned up the glass and everybody was fine. Nobody got hurt or anything. And because these types of things happen in my house literally all of the time, I've had people tell me before, like, how do you have glass in your house? Like, you have kids. I'm like, yeah, we break it. That's how. But what I basically did was it didn't look like this after it broke right away. I just broke the rest of the legs that were still attached on here off, and then I took a file and filed it so it's not rough on the edges anymore. It's not going to cut you on the edges anymore where it broke. And now I can just set it, put a candle in it and set it down, and it just looks like one of those super simple candle holders. It's not perfect by any stretch, but I figured, it still works as a candle holder, so I did it. Another thing I wanted to share with you, I'm actually going to take you over to the living room and share this with you. The coffee table that I worked really, really hard on last summer to strip and get it into like a more natural raw wood finish. I'll put a link to that up here if you guys missed that video. The girls spilled water on the coffee table and were afraid they were going to get in trouble, so they cleaned it up on their own, but didn't actually clean it up. So now there's a beautiful water ring on that coffee table that I spent a month working on. So if you're feeling down and if you're feeling discouraged, I just want you to know that your home is not beautiful because of the way it looks. Your home is beautiful because of the life that you live in it with the people that are in there with you. And this is like a really cool tip, especially for mamas out there. We are not raising our house. We are raising our family. And so when you're feeling discouraged about your home and the chaos that it is, just remember you're not raising your house. You're raising your family. Anyhow, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button down below, and I'll see you next time.